So, I guess today's topic is the Doug Erlich call out that he posted to his Facebook page. So, for those of you out there that don't know, Doug Erlich called out any 176-pound arm wrestler to a super match for $1,000. My understanding is that each individual put up their $1,000. Winner takes the loser's money at some event that fits both pullers' schedule. I don't think there are any more details than that, right, Gobby?
That's it. That's all I saw.
Yeah, so straight called out everybody. So, yeah, this is a big deal. So I guess I'll open it up. I'll let Gobby take the floor. What are your thoughts, Gobby?
Well, I think it's a little bit of he's a little bit of an unknown. I think that's going to scare some people. He hasn't pulled in a while. He's a heavier guy coming down. When he was in top form, he was virtually unbeatable, although he wasn't. The sample size was kind of small. I think because of that, there's not going to be any takers. There would be takers for a couple $100, I think, if a guy was local, like a Tim Lewis or something like before. What the fuck? But I think with that amount of money and that much of unknown, I don't think there'll be any takers. That's my take on it.
What do you think, Joseph?
For $1,000, I'm pretty sure there's enough Southern guys down there. Somebody's going to step up. I mean, how far away is Craig from being able to make 76?
Well, I'm always told that Craig walks around at 185,
Well, there you go.
190, and he complains about the heavier guys in the 195. So it seems like this would be a sweet spot for Craig.
Well, for $1,000, wouldn't you try and make the cut and make the money?
I don't believe Craig ever takes matches that he's not confident or the alarming favorite. And I think him dropping down to pull Doug at 176 is not in his best interest. I don't think, in his mind, I don't believe that's a good match for him. I'd be shocked if he or Dan took it. I think they have a specific small weight, like a span of weight that they enjoy pulling super matches at. And if you're willing to meet them there, that's great. But they won't go out of that comfort zone. I don't think it'll be those two. Maybe someone comes out of the woodwork. I don't know. But I don't think.
What about Justin?
Yeah, that guy fears no one. I think he range up to 210 down to 160. I mean, he's pulled 165, and I don't think he fears any man. So if I had to put my money down, I can see Justin Bishop doing it, and I can see him being the favorite in that match, actually, regardless of the arm. Yeah, he's about the only guy I would put as an equal chance favorite over Doug, and I say that only because the sample size for Doug is small right now. And for Justin, he never has really, especially against a guy that light. I mean, he got smoked by Storm. I think Storm had like 25 pounds on him. And if he didn't at the day, he walks around at a much heavier weight. And Justin had a bad performance. But against a 176 guy, I mean, Doug would have to probably lose a little bit more weight than Justin. No way. I like Justin there all day.
Yeah, I think Justin would have a hard time because of his flat-wristed style.
Yeah.
I see his wrist. I think the match stops. At that point, I think Doug has a stronger arm.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't want to get on Doug's arm, and I outweigh Doug by probably 40 pounds right now. So when it comes to the straps and a flat-wristed or cracked-back Justin, I think it'd be very hard for him to finish Doug from that position.
Yeah, here's the thing too. A lot of guys when they have time off, maybe they're in the gym, maybe they're not, but they're obviously away from the table. A lot of times their arm strength stays intact, but what happens over the course of a super match is it's their hand conditioning and their forearm. Once their forearm pumps, they can lose their hand. And against Justin, I think that's a complete nightmare for him because I don't think he can get that hook every time. I think Justin can kind of keep him a little bit outside, and Justin has a shitload of stamina. I think it goes straps. I think Justin would probably outlast him. I don't think Doug would be able to get everything he wants in every single match.
I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But Doug just pulled Valentin Gospodinov from Bulgaria. Did you see that match?
I did not.
Okay. And I think Doug won right-handed. And I think there were close matches left-handed. And, I mean, Valentin is, like, super legit.
Doug pulled with his wrist back a lot, didn't he?
Who's that, Doug?
Yeah.
I think they both cracked each other at some point. But for Doug to have that kind of a match against a WAF champion and someone that's kind of proven, I mean, I kind of think he would probably mop the 176 field here in the United States, as I don't think there's anybody in their prime that has left the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Justin has recently, but I don't know if he's done well against someone like Doug has.
Yeah. There's Corey Miller, who walks around at probably around 180, so it would be an easy cut. But we don't know what form. I don't know how active he is, but he's like the legit. He's one of the top 176 guys in North America. That's for sure.
So this is right hand only, right?
I think. Yeah. Oh, was it right? Okay, it was right.
Okay, so United States only or Canada? No.
Wow, who gives a shit?
I don't think he cares.
You got that 70-year Toronto.
Anthony D'Antonia?
176 would be huge, a big jump for him. And he's like, I'm not saying he's prime, but he's in like he's pushing the back end of that prime year, of those prime years. I think he kills Anthony. There's Crazy George, but who the fuck wants to see that guy? You know,
I would.
You see that fucking move, you know. No one wants to see that.
I mean, is it a bone lock?
It is a fucking bone lock. It's a Mike Todd special.
Dude.
Before Mike Todd started squatting, I mean, he started that move, and it's an absolute bone lock. Yeah, I can argue he does it better than Michael Todd, but it's an absolute bone lock. I don't care what people say. You know, I've had people say, well, he's just getting, as he gets older, he just gains more stamina and strength. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, if that's what you believe, you're not very bright. I'm not saying you can't gain athleticism in your 40s, but the guy's pushing 7-0 and you're telling me he's all of a sudden getting into these, you know, his endurance is elite, and all of a sudden his strength is elite, and it has nothing to do with a bone lock. He's just, you know, tremendously athletically strong. The fuck out of here. It's an absolute bone lock.
Super heavyweights on steroids can't pin him.
Yeah, you know.
Correct.
And I've seen him pull like shitty low-end amateurs that pull up to his class, and he still can't pin them. Like, he's still got to wait a minute and a half before they and while he's just playing with them, you know, he's just toying with them. Bullshit. You know you're stronger than a guy when you can flat out take him and pin him. When you're toying around and you need the guy to get down to about 10% of his strength to pin him, I don't care what you say. You're not strong. You're not strong at all. And, you know, no respect for that shit.
It's something to see. I hadn't seen it until 2017 Michigan State, and it was just like, man, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? It's fucking garbage, man. It's junk. How can you respect that move, even if you see its merit and you say, well, it has...
Oh, I've tried it. It doesn't work for me, man. It's not like anyone can do it like that.
It doesn't work for you because it didn't work for George in the first year. We're talking about people that have cultivated this move for damn near half a decade, practiced everything they do. They're playing off that bone lock, and of course they have no cup. It's all pronation that's going with that lock. It's all, you know, once they get in the strap and it becomes one fluid move, and it becomes first nature to them. I mean, of course you can't, you know, of course you try it the first time, you're not going to be able to sustain it. I mean, a lot of things have to adapt for you to be proficient in that move. All I'm saying is the argument that it's valuable is sound, but the argument where they're super strong or it's horseshit. It's evasion, and I mean, top roll is evasion, but top rolling you can use explosive power to finish a guy. But this isn't even. This is waiting till the guy dwindles down to the last of his fumes, and you pin him. You know, like the fuck, and you know, garbage. It's bad for spectating, and it's bad for the sport in general.
So, who else could give Doug a run?
I think that's it, man. I think we're looking at Justin. We're looking at Corey. We're looking at potentially those two Louisiana boys.
Well, Dan doesn't count. Dan is over 200 pounds, so like Dan won't make 76. He's like a lean 200 plus at times. Hoffman mentioned Sam Harris.
Oh
yeah, I was gonna say Jeff Hale, Sam Harris.
Yeah, Luke Kent, if he can stave off the tears for a couple hours. That's about it.
Dude, I think Doug mops everybody. That's my personal opinion. At 176.
There's only one guy that I would think, well, it's Justin Bishop that I would be unsure, and I'd even maybe slightly favor him. Left, not right. But he's the only one that I think makes it interesting. I think he kills everyone else. He's just too strong. I agree.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone takes the match because it's.
What if Tony Kotowski makes 76?
No, I don't think Tony takes that match because I don't think Tony wants to go down to 176. Like I don't think
he's walking or I don't know. I guess I don't know exactly.
In that video, he's was it it wasn't Montana? Was it Minnesota?
No,
Derek. That the recent tournament, but he looked 185 at least. He did not look 176. He still looked relatively thick.
But he looked close, maybe. Yeah, no.
I think Tony would have the hand and wrist to maybe do something.
Maybe. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I think he's in the group. I think he's got the best hand and wrist.
Yeah. What about Jeff Hale?
No. He's not a middleweight, and he's a legit stud lightweight. But when you start talking about guys that walk around at 185 coming down, he's walking around at maybe 70. He does not have. He does not. I mean, he can pull anyone under 165. 176.
How about a guy who's been pulling 76 lately that normally doesn't? Bill Logsdon.
Doesn't have the arm. Not at that weight. Has the hand, but not enough arm behind it to do anything with Doug. Straps, Doug would destroy him.
Yeah, and I think the best Bill Logsdon was 220 cutting to 198.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if Bill was ever great at this light of a weight, but I mean, there's a lot of history I probably just don't know.
I don't know. Every puller has a sweet spot, a range of weight which they feel absolutely amazing at. When they go above it or below it, even though they might look better or it puts them in a lower weight class, they usually don't perform as well. We've seen that often. You know, guys like, wow, you know, I'm getting down to a lighter weight class, I'm going to dominate, and all of a sudden they don't, and they look better when they were a little bit heavier. Everyone has that sweet spot.
Yeah, unfortunately, my sweet spot's around 265.
Yeah.
Okay, so you knew I was going to say it. Ron Klemba.
Too old, not enough arm. Ron in his peak, if you pull Ron 2004, 2006 against Doug today, he can match his hand, but again, it goes straps and he's going to get destroyed. And now you're going, he's like a good 6 years past his prime. Ron's.
Jamie Sheldon?
No, again, that's a stud lightweight, and he's giving up. No one can give up weight against Doug and win.
I thought Jamie was walking around heavier now.
Doesn't have the arm. Doug doesn't have the arm. Doug's like a bigger frame guy, and I can see Doug losing to maybe a guy with a similar build. He's not losing to a smaller built guy because he just not in North America anyway. Russians.
Chad Silvers.
Yeah, but that's.
Ooh.
Chad is not a big lightweight. He's a big medium. He's a big, he's a middleweight, and arguably his upper body is a light heavyweight. So I can see Chad doing that. But
his upper body is bigger than mine for sure.
Yeah, but Chad's not a 165, 170 guy anymore. Jamie and Hale and Jeff are. So I can see Chad because Chad's in the same grouping as Doug, a bigger five guy coming down, a bigger framed middleweight, or arguably a light heavyweight coming down. But
what is Doug walking at right now?
I think 180, 185.
Okay, so it's not even really a cut for him then. He's basically walking there.
Yeah, he pulled 171 at Zloty in 2016.
Yeah. And how he didn't fare very well, did he?
2.5 years ago.
I don't remember his exact placing, but I think he had some good matches. And it's a tough tournament with the draw and stuff like that. When was the last time we saw Chad?
Well, he
WAL.
No, it's been pulled within a year because I know I got a notification for the rankings that he took a couple of wins, so he's technically active. It was a smaller tournament, but when was the last time we've seen him in heavy competition? I think it's like 2 years or 3 years at Wall. Yeah,
I think it was a PAF tournament in Florida.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I don't know though.
Yeah, but Chad always kills. I mean, there's like. If Chad loses, it's to Todd.
Yeah. Chad and Doug would be massive. That would be the ideal matchup if we can have it. But you know.
Well, due to activity, I think Craig would be higher on my list. I just don't see Craig taking the match.
Right.
I don't under any circumstances, he won't take that match.
Craig picks and chooses his moments, right? He's the one that picks. He's the one who really does it. He's not on the other.
Yeah, Craig or Justin. Those are my my two.
No. Yeah. Well, Doug's what, Georgia? So Chad's not far. He's one state over. Justin would be what, 2 states over? It's not that bad.
Yeah, I think Doug is maybe 5 hours from Craig, maybe less.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Corey would be a long ways. We don't know what form Corey's at, so that's hard to say.
So let me ask you this: if a promoter put up the cash, do people take the match, or do they still duck Doug?
No, certain guys will. But who wouldn't take a super match if everything's paid and you're getting money? Like who wouldn't take?
I was just gonna say somebody.
For everyone to get paid is unlikely, but if you paid your travel expenses, but you didn't have to put up the $1,000, you just had a chance at the $1,000, you still would come out of pocket, but you could make money if you won.
Well, and it's
not everyone. That's not a slam dunk, I think.
No, and it's a prestigious. You know, you get the chance to. It was kind of like Derek Smith versus John Berzin, albeit John coming out of retirement. But that's like you have no chance to win. The whole world knew it. But I mean,
people will take that match just to get exposure, and I mean, they're not going to win, but they'll take it if everything's paid or even some of it's paid.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be foolish.
Yeah, but I mean, but if you're talking exposure, the people that guarantee would take the match are people that shouldn't even be on the stage to begin with. It's actually harder to get those other top 5 guys to take the match
because they don't want to lose.
Yeah, Doug's a tough draw.
Well, I don't believe Chad.
It's not a win by any means to anyone.
No, Chad, it would be a question of scheduling and money and where he's at. I don't think there's certain pullers. I don't. They fear.
How heavy it's Chad.
Chad wouldn't fear. Corey wouldn't fear. I just find Craig would dance around it and want maybe to a 182 or specific to what he wants. But Chad would have no issues with it. He wouldn't run from that match at all.
Who do you want to most see against Doug?
I'd love to see Chad.
I think Craig's at the top of my list. I'd like to see that one.
Craig's easily at the top of my list. Easily.
What's that, Gobby?
You want to see it, Herman, only because you want to see Craig get his ass handed to him. That's what.
Jeez.
I'd be a big fan of Craig's. I don't mind Craig. I mean, Craig seems like a hell of a gentleman. I
want to know if Doug can stop Craig's hit.
It depends. Are they calling elbow fouls?
That's a better question.
If they call the elbow fouls, I think Doug wins 3-0 if we're going best of 5.
Man.
3-0.
You're going hard to the hoop on this one, huh?
It's the truth. If you call elbow fouls, 3-0. If you call elbow fouls, Rob beats Craig 3-0. In that match that Rob lost, I think 3-1 or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Craig also needs. You have to kind of respect Craig as well. He's come up in every weight class. He's performed in every weight class. He's pulled in tons of tournaments. I mean, I know
every weight class.
We've seen a lot of elbow fouls, but the dude's legit. Yeah.
How can you say it's legit if you see all the elbow fouls?
In respect to his complete career, I'm looking at his whole.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, the last 3-4 years in WAL, man.
Yeah, what WAL? He's jumping elbows. Everyone else is jumping. I mean, there's no one pulling WAL that's not trying to concede or trying to take a concession somewhere. I mean, if it's not on the elbow, it's on the hit, it's on the cup, it's something. It's on the strap. I mean, if you go to a wall and try to go straight up fair, you're going to get killed. So I don't blame him for that. If it's a super match and he's taking all those things, and that's another thing. But in a tournament like Wall, I think you have to go in with the mindset of I'm going to try to cheat in every aspect I can. Only assume to make the assumption that your opponent will be doing the same.
Do you know who I could beat if I could elbow foul like that?
Yeah.
Damn. Damn.
Imagine 2018 Craig at Zloty. Like,
you wouldn't want to win like that, though. I mean, would you?
Against Zloty?
well, because Zloty with there's zero margin for elbow fouls. Could you imagine?
Correct. That's why Marcio went in 2017, and he was dead even with Krasimir in the hook.
Yeah, I saw that.
He didn't even get a medal because all the other guys he should have swamped, he fouled out against.
Right.
But definitely, he was the second strongest guy in the class.
Yeah.
So like fouls matter, but
yeah.
I don't know. I'd love to have that automatic advantage and head start every match.
I'm bad at practice, always making sure the guys at practice don't cheat. They want to do a simulation ready go, and they're trying to take this, they're trying to take that, and I'm trying to tell them, like, you're not helping yourself. You almost have to. I think you almost have to have your setup almost has to be automatic and more or less legit, especially when it comes to pad management with your elbow. I think you can go on false starts and stuff like that, but you have so many. You have 3-4 shots at it. But when it comes to elbow fouls, you don't want to lose a match that way. I think it's good to practice elbow management during training sessions.
Those losses hurt.
Yeah.
All right. Enough of Doug.